1 minute ago, Iran fired 500 missiles at U.S. bases. Trump's secret response will shock you. Just 1 minute ago, a development that nobody in Washington, nobody in Tel Aviv, and nobody in Beijing expected. Iran fired hundreds of drones and ballistic missiles at American military bases across the Middle East. I want you to stop whatever you are doing, because what I am about to tell you will change the way you understand this war forever. My name is Professor Jiang. And for the past decade I have studied the power dynamics of the Middle East, the psychology of leaders under pressure, and the hidden chess moves that most analysts completely miss. Today I am making my most important prediction yet. Let me give you the full picture first, because context is everything in geopolitics. This war did not begin on February 28, 2026. No, this war began years, decades ago. The roots go back to 1979, to the hostage crisis, to the Iran-Iraq war,
to every sanction, every missile test, every proxy battle across Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. The confrontation took place after years of rising tension over Iran's nuclear program, its ballistic missiles, and its military reach across the Middle East. But here is what most people missed, what most analysts got completely wrong. Iran was already weakened before this war started. Attempts to renegotiate a nuclear deal in 2025 and 2026 were unsuccessful. Meanwhile, Iran's posture was in a weakened state after years of sanctions, recent destabilizing protests, and damage inflicted during the 12-day war. So when the United States and Israel struck, they struck at the exact moment Iran was at its weakest point in 45 years. And yet, Iran did not collapse. Iran responded with everything it had. Since February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel have been engaged in a war with Iran and its regional allies. The conflict began when the US and Israel launched airstrikes on Iran, targeting military and government sites and assassinating Iranian officials, including Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Think about what that means for a moment. The Supreme Leader of Iran, the man who ran the country for over 30 years, was killed in an airstrike. Months of joint US and Israeli strategic and operational deception of satellite imagery led up to the war. This was not a random attack. This was meticulously planned, calculated down to the minute. The surprise attacks were launched during negotiations between Iran and the US regarding Iran's nuclear program. During negotiations. Let me repeat that. While the two sides were talking peace, the bombs were already in the air. This is the nature of power. This is how great powers behave when they believe the window is closing. Now here is where my prediction becomes critical. Everyone assumed Iran would crumble. Everyone assumed that without Khamenei, the regime would collapse. Every Western analyst, every think tank in Washington said this will be over in days. They were wrong. Iran responded with missile and drone strikes on Israel, US bases, and US allied Arab countries in West Asia, and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, disrupting global trade. Iran hit Israel. Iran hit US military bases. Iran launched hundreds of drones and ballistic missiles at Israel, US military bases. Neighboring Arab countries including Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, as well as Iraq's Kurdistan. Drones or missiles also appeared to target Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Britain's Akrotiri military base on Cyprus. This was not the response of a collapsing government. This was the response of a system that had prepared for this moment for 40 years. And then Iran did something that shocked the entire global economy. It closed the Strait of Hormuz. The danger of crossfire and threats from Iran in particular led to severe disruption of traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most volatile oil choke points, leading to fuel shortages in parts of Asia and rippling effects across the global economy. Now let me tell you something that CNN will not tell you. Al Jazeera will not tell you. Nobody will tell you, except me. Iran's greatest weapon is not its missiles. Iran's greatest weapon is the Strait of Hormuz. The Trump administration has been rapidly releasing oil from America's emergency stockpile in a bid to ease the supply crisis caused by the war with Iran. According to Energy Department data, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve lost another 8 million barrels of crude in just 1 week. That's down from 9.1 million barrels the week before and a record-setting 9.9 million the week ending May 15. America is draining its emergency oil reserves at record speed, and the SPR still has 357.1 million barrels of crude, but that's the smallest amount since January 2024. Here is my prediction. If this war continues for 2 more months, America's Strategic Petroleum Reserve will reach a critically dangerous level. This is not just about gas prices. This is about military readiness. This is about national security. This is the real crisis behind the crisis. Now let us talk about Trump, because Trump is the central character in this story. The House passed a resolution to limit Trump's war powers in Iran, a significant rebuke to the U.S. president and his handling of the conflict. His own Congress is pushing back. One of the 4 House Republicans who voted to curb President Donald Trump's war powers in Iran told CNN that Americans are frustrated by the conflict. I think that people are frustrated, certainly, said Rep. Tom Barrett after the vote. And the negotiations? They are a mess. There are mixed messages on the status of U.S.-Iran talks to end the war. President Donald Trump said Wednesday that negotiations have gone very well, but Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said there has been no significant progress in recent days. This is the classic trap of a leader who started a war he cannot finish on his terms. Trump wanted a quick, decisive victory, a 10-day war, a show of power. But now, over 90 days later, he is sitting in the Oval Office, draining America's oil reserves, watching his own party vote against him, and trying to make a deal with a country he just bombed. This is not strength. This is a man whose aura is cracking. And now, we come to the most dangerous question of all. The nuclear question. Trump told reporters at the White House that, as of this moment, Tehran has agreed to allow the U.S. into Iran to dig up buried nuclear material in coordination with Iranian authorities once the conflict ends. Iran has agreed to allow the United States to come in and remove buried nuclear material. Think about that. This means one thing. The nuclear material still exists. It was not destroyed by the bombs. It survived, and both sides know it. Trump said, when it's over, as of this moment, it's agreed that we will go in with them, we will get it, and we will destroy it. It will be destroyed. My prediction. This agreement will not hold. Here is why. Iran has made deals before. Iran has suspended agreements before. The moment this war ends, the moment the bombs stop falling, Iran's calculation will change. A new leadership will emerge, and that leadership will look at that nuclear material and ask one question, do we still need it? The answer in my prediction will be yes. Iranian state media said that talks with the U.S. had been suspended over Israel's actions in Lebanon, which Tehran said violated the ceasefire. However, U.S. President Donald Trump contradicted this, saying that talks continue at a rapid pace. This back and forth, this chaos of messages, is not accidental. Iran is using the confusion strategically. Every time talks seem close, Iran introduces a new condition. Every time a deal seems near, Lebanon becomes a problem. Iran's Foreign Minister Araghchi has said the U.S.-Israel war with Iran will only end when it also ends in Lebanon. Iran has repeatedly said that any ceasefire agreement must include Lebanon, a stipulation that has threatened to disrupt the U.S. negotiating process with Tehran. This is Iran's genius. They have linked every front together. You cannot end the war in Iran without ending the war in Lebanon. You cannot end the war in Lebanon without dealing with Hezbollah. You cannot deal with Hezbollah without confronting Israel. And Israel, as we know, will not stop. So what happens next? Here is my prediction, and I want you to remember these words. Prediction 1. The ceasefire will be signed, but it will be fragile. Within 6 months, the Strait of Hormuz crisis will return. Because Iran has learned that the Strait is its most powerful weapon, and a weakened, newly reorganized Iranian government will use it again. Prediction 2. The nuclear question will not be resolved by this war. Iran's nuclear program has survived. The knowledge exists. The engineers are still alive. The program can be restarted. The next leader of Iran, whoever emerges from this chaos, will restart it. Quietly, carefully, slowly. But they will restart it. Prediction 3. Trump will declare victory. He will hold a press conference. He will say, "We won, America won, the greatest deal ever made." And for a moment, the world will believe him. But the war will not truly be over. It will simply go underground. Prediction 4. This war has permanently changed the Middle East. The conflict left enormous damage, thousands of people dead in Iran and Lebanon, dozens dead in Israel and the Gulf Arab states, and millions of people displaced in the region. The Iran that emerges from this war will be angrier, more nationalistic, and more determined than ever before. And that, my friends, is the most dangerous outcome of all. I am Professor Jiang. I have watched this region for 20 years. I have studied every war, every revolution, every secret negotiation. And what I see now tells me one thing. We are not at the end of this story. We are at the end of the beginning. The next chapter will be even more dramatic, even more dangerous. And I will be here to help you understand every move, every signal, every prediction. If this video gave you a new perspective, a perspective you cannot find anywhere else, then please hit the like button right now. Share this with someone who needs to understand what is really happening. And subscribe, because I promise you, what is coming next is something nobody is prepared for. I will see you in the next video.